Class is officially in session, and around here, we don't just watch college basketball, we study it. So welcome back to Campus Intel Men's and Women's College Basketball Season Preview, where the syllabus is basketball, the textbooks are scouting reports, and the final exam, game day. Because today we're talking about the students walking onto campus with something a little different in their backpacks. 5-star talent, high major expectations, and enough hype to make the professor nervous. We're talking about the most impactful incoming freshmen of the 2026-2027 college basketball season. And yes, the ladies got homework, and so do the fellas. And I, Queen Chillmode, am your professor today. So class, take your seats, because we're about to find out which freshmen are ready to skip orientation and go straight to the starting lineup. Now, before we open the textbook, let's establish today's grading criteria, okay? Around Campus Intel, we're looking at 4 things: talent, opportunity, skill translation, and most importantly, immediate impact. Because being a 5-star recruit is one thing, but walking into a college gym and immediately making a game easier for everyone around you, that's a whole different course. We're calling this class Freshman Impact Studies 101. And trust me, there are some students in this class who look like they already graduated. Alright class, ladies first. Let's open this women's basketball textbook, and the first name on the attendance sheet is somebody who's walking into Los Angeles with some serious expectations. Saniyah Hall, USC Trojans 6'1" guard, and who was the #1 overall recruit in her freshman class. Now here's her assignment: create, defend, compete. Repeat. Create, defend, compete, and do it again and again and again, okay? Because Hall brings physicality, versatility, and the ability to create her own shot. But here's what makes things especially interesting. She isn't walking into USC by herself. She's joining forces with the JuJu Watkins. That means we're potentially looking at a backcourt with size, shot creation, athleticism, and serious scoring ability. Just a professor's note, y'all, do not leave these two unattended in the backcourt, because that could become a problem for everybody on the syllabus. The next classmate will be none other than Olivia Vukusa, UConn Huskies 6'4" center, and considered or was the #2 overall recruit in the class and the top ranked true center in the entire class. Now when you hear center, I want y'all thinking rim protection, rebounding, paint scoring, physicality, because she's bringing all of that. And after we've just wrapped up the Paige Beckers and AZ Fudd era at UConn, we're entering, obviously, a new chapter. So Vukuso gives Gino an interior anchor to go alongside Sarah Strong. Translation: the Huskies could be building their next identity around size, versatility, and interior dominance. Now that's not a freshman orientation. That's a front court thesis project, if there ever was one. Now let's head on down to South Crackalacky and speak on the ladies from Columbia, South Carolina, because Don Staley just added another blue chip problem, and that problem is called Olivia Edwards. 3rd overall recruit, 6'3" forward, and this young lady brings some serious tools to the lab. She's bringing length, athleticism, mobility, rebounding, and a face-up game that can stretch defenses out to that 15 to 18 foot range. Now, after initially committing to Tennessee, Edwards has ultimately flipped to South Carolina in April, and now she's walking into one of the deepest programs in the country. The big question for our scouting notebook, though, is how quickly can all those tools translate against SEC competition? Because if that offensive package develops quickly, man, whoo child, we could be looking at a foundational piece for the Gamecocks. Now another freshman who could have a big impact is another freshman from South Carolina, Jersey Robinson. And Jersey Robinson is a 5-star guard. In her assignment, plug, play, and produce. She has the profile of the type of talent that can slide right into Don Staley's system and immediately become another weapon. And when you combine Edwards and Robinson with the existing South Carolina ecosystem, the freshman class isn't just adding bodies, it's adding future firepower. And up next, we're speaking of Kate Harpering. We're going up north to North Carolina. We're talking about a 5'10" point guard. Now, if that name Kate Harpering sounds familiar, yes, she is the daughter of former Georgia Tech and NBA player Matt Harpering. She was the 4th overall recruit in the class, and this young lady would be your floor general lesson. Harpering is described as a high IQ point guard who can control tempo, score at all 3 levels, and facilitate. Now, that's the kind of player who doesn't just run an offense, she conducts it. So think of her as the student who already has the syllabus memorized before the teacher even hands it out. Now, ladies, class dismissed. But don't put your notebooks away just yet, because now the fellas are walking into the building. Now, before we flip over to the men's side, I need your answer for today's Campus Intel Pop Quiz. Which incoming freshman do you think is most likely to make the biggest impact in college basketball this season? Don't just give me a name either. Tell me what skill separates them, what team benefits the most, and what makes you think they're ready for the college game. Drop it in the comment sections, because around here, we don't just watch the game, baby. We study it. All right, back to class. Let's get back to class. Now it's time for Freshman Impact Studies, the men's division. In this class, the talent level is ridiculous. Let's start with the player many scouts have viewed as the headliner of the entire 2026 high school class, and that is none other than Tyron Stokes, Kansas Jayhawks, 6'7" small forward, and the profile screams point forward. I mean, Stokes brings size, athleticism, transition ability, and passing vision. That's important because a player like this doesn't have to simply finish possessions. He can initiate them, push the break, create advantages, find teammates, attack mismatches, build self-potentially as a centerpiece who can become a hub for the entire offense. Translation? The Jayhawks just added a whole lot of horsepower to the syllabus. Now, next stop, we're heading on down to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and speaking on a young man by the name of Jordan Smith Jr., who's a 6'2" guard with those Arkansas Razorbacks. And if you're looking for somebody who treats every possession like a pop quiz, this might be your guy. Smith brings elite perimeter defense, competitiveness, and downhill scoring. Now that's a dangerous combination, because guards who can pressure the ball defensively and attack the rim offensively absolutely loved by coaches and teammates. And with John Calipari reloading at Arkansas, Smith could have a major opportunity to make his freshman year feel more like freshman year honors program. Now let's take a trip over to Durham and speak on Cameron Williams, who's a 6'11" power forward headed over to Duke. And this is where the scouting notebook gets a little interesting, because Williams is going to give Duke size, mobility, rim protection, and a developing perimeter shot. That combination creates serious upside, because if a 6'11" front court player can protect the rim on one end and then stretch the defense on the other, problem. And trust me, nobody likes geometry when Duke is running the offense. Caleb Holt, Arizona wing. And this is the kind of player coaches dream about putting into a high major system. Holt brings scoring, ball handling, versatility, and the ability to contribute across multiple statistical categories. But that's our favorite word in this classroom. You know that, right? Versatility, because you don't necessarily need a player to dominate one category if they can impact 5 of them. Points, rebounds, assists, defense, transition. That's a full transcript. And finally, we're heading down to Austin to hook 'em horns and speaking on little brother Marcus Spears Jr., 6'9" forward. And here's the interesting part. he reclassified into this recruiting class. So now he's entering college basketball earlier than originally expected. And that makes this development one of the more fascinating freshman studies of the season. Spurs bring size, athleticism, and high major physical tools. And for Sean Miller in Texas, his arrival raises the ceiling of the front court. The question becomes, how quickly does the talent turn into production? Because the tools are clearly there. Now it's time for the college game to grade the assignment. Alright class, final exam. We've studied the guards, we've studied the bigs and the wings, and here's what stands out. This freshman class isn't built around one type of player. We've got shot creators, floor generals, point forwards, rim protectors, two-way guards, stretch-capable forwards, and athletic playmakers, which means the 2026-2027 season isn't simply about asking which freshman is the best. The better question is, which freshman skill set translates fastest to winning basketball? That's the real exam, because recruiting rankings get you into the classroom, but production gets you on the honor roll. So, when the season starts, here's your campus intel study guide. Study guide number 1, role. Are these freshmen starting, coming off the bench, running the offense, or simply being asked to fill a specific role? Study guide number 2, decision making. College basketball moves faster, the windows are smaller, the defenders are stronger. So how quickly can these freshmen process the game? Number 3, physical translation. The college game will test strength, conditioning, and durability. So can their high school physical advantages survive against high major competition? Study guide number 4, impact without the ball. This one is huge. Cutting, screening, rebounding, defending, rotating, making the extra pass, because sometimes the biggest freshman impact doesn't show up in the box score. And that's what makes this class so exciting. These players aren't coming to college just to learn, they're coming to compete. They're coming to adjust. They're coming to prove that the hype translates. And for the programs lucky enough to land them, these freshmen could become the difference between a good season and a special one. So keep your scouting notebooks open, keep your eyes on the film, and keep those recruiting rankings in perspective, because once the ball goes up, the classroom becomes the court. And just like that, class is dismissed. This has been Campus Intel Men's and Women's Season Preview, where we don't just watch the game, we study it. I'm your professor of basketball chaos, Queen Chillmode. In this freshman class, they're about to get their first real college assignment. Survive the speed, handle the pressure, learn the system, and most importantly, hoop. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, because we're going to be breaking down the teams, the players, storylines you need to know before the season jumps off. And don't forget that Campus Intel Pop Quiz. Which freshman are you expecting to make the biggest impact? Drop your answer in the comments. Give me the player, give me the school, and give me a little scouting report of why, because around here, y'all already know by now. We study the game. We don't just watch it. I'll see y'all in the next one. Class dismissed.